All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. We're back at you, Facebook Live. And like anything that's live, sometimes little technical issues pop up. And so we had to end our earlier broadcast. I've got Rochelle back, and we're just going to start over again. Hey, so again, thanks for joining us. It's Saturday morning. And what an amazing weekend, Halloween weekend. Everybody's all decorated up, and the kids are getting ready to go out and go trick-or-treating. So again, it's a fun weekend. But I wanted to bring on a good friend of mine, an amazing fitness professional who's been helping change the lives of so many people. And many of you that kind of follow me here on Facebook know that I'm a certified health coach, and I've been doing that for about 14 years now. And I get the privilege of meeting some amazing people along my journey. And Rochelle is one of those. We met a couple of months ago, and Rochelle, from the very day we met, I knew we were going to be good friends. We align with what it is we do for careers, and I just want people to get to know you a little bit, and so that's why I've asked you to be part of our interview on Facebook Live this morning. And you are the owner of Fuel Fitness, and I want to start by having you share a little bit about your passion for fitness and your passion for helping people. And let's make sure we give Fuel Fitness a good plug there in Modesto. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, so
Just
so
some
how did you
intro.
actually get started in the gym?
Well, I've always been passionate about fitness. I remember being 9 years old and doing aerobics in front of the TV, and my mom calling me for dinner. And I remember my parents, my family that I lived with, my mom and my grandmother, they were very nutrition conscious. And so I think that just was something that I grew up with as a passion of mine. But as I became older, I started looking at getting into different aspects of nutrition. I always read and researched anything to do with nutrition and being healthy. That was just something I always enjoyed. After having children, I was really looking to get myself into better shape. And I decided to become an aerobics instructor and from there, a personal trainer. I had some passions of wanting to compete in figure competitions, which is kind of like a feminine athletic version of bodybuilding.
Right.
So I went into that. I went on to obtain other certifications in the industry, had worked for different gyms and managed and directed different gyms, and eventually opened up my own gym a few years ago.
Sure. Awesome. So it's in Modesto, California.
That's correct.
Terrific. Terrific. So let's give an exact address so people know where it is down there in Modesto.
Sure. Yeah, we're in North Modesto, off of McHenry and Bangs. It's 401 Bangs Avenue.
Okay, terrific. We had to put in a good plug for the gym while we have you
Thank
live.
you.
So,
Sure.
we've had a chance over the last couple of months to get to know each other, and I know even as a health coach and fitness professional, sometimes we get our own health out of balance, and we have to be reminded of what's important to us and what we're trying to create. And maybe share just with people a little bit about your own personal health journey. COVID certainly affected a lot of what's happened. And so would love to have you just kind of share your own health journey over the last, 3 or 4 months.
Sure. Well, I am passionate about my own health. We do have some genetics that play into factor into my
Right.
family. My father passed away actually at my age. I'm 47 years old. He had heart issues. I lost my mother to congestive heart failure. We have diabetes in the family. But what I've learned in the fitness industry is that it's not just about your genetics. Yes, that does play into it, but it's more about your surroundings and your lifestyle, your own personal habits, how you treat your life greatly outweighs the genetic factor because there's so much we can do to offset and improve even genetics. So for me
Right.
personally, with my health, although I've always been interested and passionate about health and in fitness, you know, I'm human. None of us are perfect. Nobody leads this perfect lifestyle, and I don't even know what you would call perfect, but
Right.
um, sometimes we take detours, or sometimes we make choices that are not in the best interest of our goals, and that's happened to me. I think that's happened to everybody I know, regardless
Right.
of what their background or their profession is. Um, so, opening the gym was really exciting for me. I was getting myself in really great shape to open, this new adventure. And I had a great time doing that. Last year was a little crazy, with COVID. We had to close for 3 months with the mandate. And I remember thinking, you know what? I'm going to get super fit. I'm going to be super fit by the time we reopen. And you know what? It started out great. It didn't end up that way.
Sure.
So I did put on some weight last year, and
Hmm.
I've never really struggled aside from being pregnant and having children. I'd never really struggled with my weight before, so that was a first for me. I started putting on some pounds, and even when we reopened, I really wasn't being the best version of myself from a health standpoint, and I felt like kind of stuck. I have all these certifications, national certifications as a weight loss specialist and a sports nutritionalist, and, all these training certifications. But what I knew wasn't helping me. I
Right.
wasn't, I didn't feel I was able to really help myself. I felt stuck and I felt like I lost my motivation and I wasn't feeling really good about myself. I felt like, how am I supposed to help people when I'm not even really helping myself? I'd put on about 15 pounds and I noticed that I wasn't even really posting pictures of myself as much anymore. And I just wasn't feeling like the best version of myself until this year. And I made some great changes this year that really provided me with the tools I needed to bring myself up.
Right.
And I'm not saying I was in depression. I wouldn't consider myself a depressed, but I did have some depressing times, some
Sure.
difficult days. And so, with these new tools in my pocket, I learned how to bring myself from that depression, those types of feelings, to a higher level of fulfillment and happiness. And that has been something that's been instrumental in me helping other people this year as well.
Right. So, and to that point, so many people have struggled. And with the gyms closing, those people that were focused in the gym fitness and having great habits in that regard, all of a sudden their favorite gym closed. And they were forced to try to do it at home, and that didn't work so well. So instead of continuing to work out and be active at home, we were baking cookies. And I know so many people that I talked to, including myself, struggled a little bit with COVID and kind of was falling back into some of the old bad habits. In fact, I personally gained 30 pounds during that period, and I've been back on my health journey and down 13 and a half pounds as of this morning. And so I'm fighting my way back. And I think
Right.
that's what a lot of us go through from time to time is we know what to do, but the struggle is real. And I want you to just kind of touch on that because you've got people coming back into the gym, and I know you're helping people from a nutritional standpoint get their habits back in check. If you were working with somebody that was really kind of struggling, what kind of initial advice would you give them to say, hey, you really have an opportunity to get back on track?
Well, I hear you, and I'm sorry you went through that, Russ. You're
Yeah.
not alone. I hear that all the time. Last year was definitely a rough year for a lot of people. A lot of people did not improve their health. It went quite the opposite.
Right.
I keep hearing this over and over. But I would say that my advice to them, first of all, the basis of our health is our nutrition. But for many people, they don't know how to get there.
Right.
That's part of what I do is that I'm working as a health coach, not for just people here at my gym, but in other cities and states now. And to have a mentor, which is what you've been for me,
Sure.
a guide, a coach, someone to guide and direct them, someone who's invested in their results with them, helping them move through the process, like moving beyond what was taught to us and what we already know, to being like ready to explore
Right.
to what matters to them most with their personal goals. So having someone to help guide them. And then, I also help people develop a community of support. I help bring that to them. I I help implement that in their surroundings for them so that for people that feel very alone and don't have everybody on the same page in their household or in their family, community. Yeah, community is super important. When you have community support and you have resources, you have educational support, tools to learn how to manage emotional eating and stress management, getting better sleep, all aspects of health. Because really, getting healthy is not just about how much you weigh, it's
Right.
about your mindset. And if you're not working on this thing up here,
Right.
then it definitely affects everything else. So I would definitely say, whether it's with me or something, working on your mindset is the most instrumental thing that will help make long lasting changes in your life. Without a healthy mindset, people can go on any program, they can lose weight, they can go on any diet, but if they're not changing what's going on up here, then they're just going to gain their weight back. And sadly, I've seen that happen over and over again. I've helped people lose over 100 pounds and they gain it back because they go back to stress eating or emotional eating, or they never really get to the source of what's going on and why they're not healthy.
Right.
So I'd say mindset is a huge part of it. So yeah, all those aspects. I mean, learning how to feed your body properly, having maybe a mentor or a coach to guide you through this process to awaken you of the potential of what's really possible for you in your life and
Right.
helping you lead your best life, but with your health first. Having community support of people around you, um, and just self growth, self development with that mindset to learn how to navigate your way through those difficult times.
Yep. Rochelle, you're absolutely right. I think, a lot of times people that are struggling, when I hear people talking about, yeah, when I was younger, I was a bodybuilder, I was a competitive bodybuilder, I was in the gym, all right, I was an athlete or whatever, or maybe even somebody played a lot of sports. They have a couple of kids, life gets in the way, they end up working a full time job, and then they totally kind of fall off the habits that they did as an athlete. And, they think, well, I'm 40, 50, 60 years old. I'm never going to be like I was back, when I was in my 20s. But, we get a chance as coaches and fitness professionals every day to help people become the best version of themselves. And it's different for everybody. But we all can gather together in community. And I think that's one of the beauties of what you've created, Rochelle, is that you help people create a sense of belonging, and that working together, we can be better because we're learning from each other. We're feeding off each other. We have some accountability to each other. And I love the community that's been created, private Facebook groups and, conference calls. We just had our video chat this morning. It was awesome, centered around helping people make healthy choices over Halloween. And so there's always something that we can learn. And you're absolutely right. Mindset is really, really key. I want you to talk a little bit about, this mindset process. I know part of what you've been utilizing as a coach is an amazing system that was put together called the Habits of Health. And, certainly we want people to eat right and become more physically active. But if the mind is not in the best place, sometimes we struggle to make the daily decisions. So maybe just kind of share with people a little bit about this amazing tool, the Habits of Health, and how that's helping your clients break through.
So, with the Habits of Health, written by Dr. Anderson, who's an amazing person, by the way,
Yeah.
I've learned so much from him. Um, so, the whole philosophy behind it is that we wear our health according to what our daily habits are. That's what our health is.
Right.
It's a concept. It's a total embodiment of what our patterns are in life. So whether you're eating properly, staying hydrated, working out, whether you're handling stress, whether you're getting proper sleep, all these things, our health is representative of all the habits on a daily basis that we do. So the Habits of Health transformation system helps us by employing small little micro habits that are completely doable. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, that it's still a completely doable task. And so it takes about 66 days to create a habit. Maybe for some, maybe take a little longer, but 66 days of being consistent with that habit to really make some lasting changes. So that is one of the basis behind the Habits of Health transformation system is, say for someone who's not drinking enough water, maybe a micro habit for them might be drinking 8 ounces more a day. On a good day and a bad day, you could probably do that. Or maybe for someone who is in a sedentary position, maybe a micro habit for them might be to stand up for 2 more minutes a day. That's doable. Whether they're having a good day or a bad day, they can do this. And so we build on these micro habits to recreate the life we want. And then also to, we learn how to reconstruct patterns of behavior.
Right.
So, for example, setting alarms, eating in regular intervals to keep our metabolism going and properly nourishing the body. Maybe you need a little help there. Maybe just something as simple as setting an alarm on your phone is going to help you recreate that habit. So that's the basis of the program. And then also just really personally working through some for yourself, you actually can create cues in your life that has a reward. And I don't recommend Halloween candy as a reward, but sometimes the reward is we just feel better. If I'm eating in regular intervals and I'm not going hours upon hours without eating and my blood sugar drops and I'm feeling horrible, maybe my reward is if I eat on time, then I feel really good and I have the energy to do everything I want to do and be able to, stay active and that type of thing. So it's a system of cues and rewards to help create better patterns in our life.
Yeah, I love that because there's so many things that we do in our daily life that is automated. We get up in the morning, we make coffee, we grab the donut, open up the fridge, go about our day. So our brain wants to automate as much as it can, so it automates a routine. And if we have a bad routine, it'll still automate that. It'll just help you remember that when you come downstairs, you press the button to start the coffee. When you press the button on the coffee, then you go open up the fridge. These are all automated responses to the habits that we've created over time. And what I hear you saying, Rochelle, is that your system and the Habits of Health allows people to change the cue. Maybe we move the coffee pot, so we have to think about it. Maybe there's some other things that we can do. I know Dr. Anderson in the Life Book talks a little bit about, taking your shoes. If your goal is to work out in the morning, the minute you get out of bed, you're stepping on your gym shoes to remind you to put those shoes on and go to the gym. And so it's kind of breaking the habit. The one that I use often is, if people are used to eating dinner at the end of the night and sitting down in their easy chair with a bowl of ice cream and some popcorn while they watch some TV before bed, changing the furniture so that easy chair isn't facing the TV. Maybe it's facing, the window. And so just by sitting in that chair, you're going to go, wow, something's different. What's different is I'm not going to have ice cream and popcorn tonight. And so I'm going to open up a book and read rather than turn on the TV and be, totally dialed into something else. So I love this whole process because it helps people awaken what's important to them, and it really gives them an easy way to change those habits and structure. So, Rochelle, I know this time of the year, a lot of people are getting ready for the holidays, and we've got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, and then New Year's, and then a lot of people make New Year's resolutions, and within a couple of weeks, they've already broken those or they don't keep those. Certainly, a lot of times the gyms get really super busy in January and February, but by March you can shoot a cannon through the gym because people have already kind of given up on their goals and dreams. And I want you to just kind of talk a little bit about, there's never a great day to start a diet for sure. But as you begin to create the daily habits in your life, there's never a better time than to do that now. Maybe kind of address this, New Year's resolution mentality versus, the decisions you make tomorrow will lead you to being healthier by the time you get to New Year's. So maybe give some advice for people that are watching and listening, whether they're live or in replay, a little bit about why getting started on their own health goals and journey now rather than waiting till January can be so important.
Sure. Well, if you could be your future self, okay, let's say someone's goal is to lose 50 pounds, and you were able to talk to that future self, and you would say, hey, give me some advice. What could I do? I bet you that future self would tell you, stop waiting around to do it. Just do it,
Right.
First of all, right? So we want to lead our lives from the future. If you could write a letter back to yourself after you've achieved whatever goal you've set for yourself, I bet your future self wouldn't tell you to procrastinate and wait around.
Right.
And then one thing I see that's very common with people is that they just want to wait through the holiday. It's just, well, after Halloween, well, after Thanksgiving, well, after Christmas, well, after New Year's, well, after Valentine's Day, well, after Easter, because there's candy, and and there's my birthday, and then you can literally, I just made a post about this the other day, you can literally use the procrastination excuse all year for many years.
Right. Yep. And we have.
Yeah, many of us have. We can stand around and be spectators about what we want. But we let our emotions rule our decisions sometimes. We just don't feel like it. We just, we kind of feel sorry for ourselves because we think we can't participate in things, which is totally not true.
Right.
Thanksgiving is a holiday, not a month.
Right.
So, and there's much better ways to, experience connection with people, not just through food. And I'm not saying you can't have your Thanksgiving meals, but maybe you make better choices. A lot of people that procrastinate and wait till after the holidays will now need to lose 5 or 10 pounds more than if they actually would have just got started and either went into the holidays with, I try to meet people wherever their goals are. Is your goal to maybe not gain weight through the holiday? Maybe you're not trying to lose weight. Maybe you're just trying to get through the holidays without gaining 5 or 10 pounds.
Right.
Or maybe, why not go into the holiday at a better weight, 5 or 10 pounds less so that, you're feeling better during those social engagements and that type of thing.
Right.
So, procrastinating, I will tell you, this is a funny little thing you mentioned about the gyms in January. People might come in at first in the beginning of January, but you're absolutely right. They start ghosting us after that.
Right.
They'll disappear. And so gyms don't really get busy until maybe mid-February. Everybody is still on holiday mode. And so what I see happen is people really wish they would have started sooner because now they're procrastinating literally till like February or March. So here we are at the end of October, November, December, January, February, March. You're talking about putting off for 5 more months what you could have already started. Somebody could have been down, maybe 50 pounds or more, who knows, by then. Right. And I'm sure they would be looking at going into the summer, into the next year in a much healthier place. And how much longer are you going to allow your emotions to rule your decisions and procrastination to determine, what you want in life? Procrastination is usually because we find all these little excuses of why not to do something. People are so afraid to give up little things instead of shooting what they can, maybe for greatness, of having that opportunity now. So leading from the future, think about what your future self would tell you to do. If it was time, if you could do that, they would tell you to get started, to take responsibility for where you're at, to seek growth. Time is of essence, especially with your health. People that do have pounds to lose, are predisposed to conditions like heart disease, diabetes. If you have pounds to lose and you don't have those issues yet, good for you. But let's not wait around and wait for it to happen first.
Right.
We're in a situation where we're needing some really serious help. But anyhow, think that answers
No,
your question.
no, I think that's perfect because a lot of times people wait till the catastrophic event before they say, "Oh crap, I really need to do something." And you know what? Dr. Anderson talks a lot about the fact that people are in a non-sick state. You know, they don't have a lot of the major diseases or anything. They're just non-sick. It doesn't mean that they're ultimately healthy. And you know, I know what you've been creating for your clients is helping them become the best version of themselves, whether it be creating better nutritional habits and helping lose the weight to get to a healthier weight, to become more physically fit, to change their mindset, and to feel like they're doing it with each other. And that's why I think, you know, the gym community can be great, or online, you know, healthy eating plan community can be great. And it all starts with a decision. What's important? What do you want your life to look like? And if you want to get into a healthier state, whether it be today, tomorrow, next week, next month, I would just invite you. You know, I've asked Rochelle to be on because she's an amazing coach, and she is helping people break through a lot of the stuff that they've been hanging on to for years. And her clients are seeing phenomenal growth. Rochelle, it's been good also to see you focusing on all the things that you want in life as well. And I know you're committed to helping people. You're going to meet them where they're at. You're going to love on them. And help guide them. You know, you're not going to take responsibility for them, but you are going to open up and challenge them to discover what might be possible for them. So I just want to say, hey, thank you so much for being a part of this interview today. It's been fun. And you've given people some really great advice and some great tips. And so for all of the rest of you out there listening to us on Facebook Live, I would just invite you to reach out to myself or Rochelle, and we'll make sure that you get connected. And if getting healthy is a goal of yours, that you want to really make a total difference and not be a spectator, but to be a participant, an active, thriving, having fun participant, I would just encourage you to reach out. And Rochelle, just in closing, maybe just kind of wrap this up and maybe give your best breakaway tips to help people really make the changes that they need to make.
Sure. So my best breakaway tips is to remember that you're not alone, that there's always someone out there that you can reach out to, whether it's myself or you know, community support. Building that community is really important to your success. If you hang out with whatever your 5 people are that you hang around with the most, that's who you're most going to be like. So find those people that are who you want to be or what you're aspiring to learn. You know, find like-minded people to be around. Find people that inspire you, motivate you, people that connect authentically with you. Nobody likes fake people, right? You know, we have to have compassion for them because they're just not learning how to connect authentically. But find those people that you know are passionate about helping you. So you're definitely not alone. That would be my biggest tip. Find someone you trust, someone that you can cultivate trust with, someone that can help you awaken your potential for what's possible in your life, to help you meet you where you're at. Someone that can help you reach goals right from where you are, no matter what those goals are. And then to invest in yourself through mindset training. We can, like I mentioned before, we can do all kinds of things on a physical level, a nutritional level, which do produce results, but are they going to produce a life transformation for you? Right. So I would say that I could introduce people to the Habits of Health transformation system, of course. I love to guide people, but to work on your mindset, whether it's with me or whatever it is you do, some meditation, deep breathing, some time for yourself. A lot of people say, I'm too busy. I have kids, I have work. Find 1 minute. One of my micro habits is to do deep breathing for 30 seconds. I can do deep breathing for 30 seconds a day, no matter how busy I am. Just stop in that challenging moment. Give yourself those few breaths when you really focus in on who you are and just get centered and kind of clear everything else. It can help balance you in so many ways. And And then lastly is, if you don't know about nutrition, maybe find someone to help give you some guidance. I find that people lack a lot of education in that area.
Right.
And I know there's so much stuff out there, but just maybe making small little changes at a time. I mean, that's what I help my clients do is,
Right.
I guide them through making very small, doable changes every day. So I think those are probably my basic biggest tips to maybe help
Yep.
people get going in the right direction.
Yep, those are fabulous, and I just love your passion for helping people, and just thank you so much for being a part of our interview this morning. I know as we've gone live into my Facebook page, we had to restart, and so I'll Rochelle get you the recording that you can share with people out on your Facebook community. But it's been awesome. Thank you so much for being my guest. I look forward to changing a lot of lives together. And folks, if you're at that spot where you'd like to reach out to Rochelle, please do so. You can either do that directly through her Facebook page, or feel free to reach out to me and I'll make sure that you get connected. So remember, it's never a great day to start a diet, but today is a great day to create the habits of health in your life. Thanks everyone for being a part of our live.